Hi, Stephanie.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm using your meeting to test out if I can live stream um, on YouTube because I have another event that I'm doing. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me okay? I can't hear you now, Stephanie. I think you're muted. Can you hear
Uh,
me?
yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can now, yes.
So it's kind of weird. I was trying to live stream the event on YouTube, but
Hmm.
then I guess there's a delay with YouTube.
Oh, okay, okay.
So let me. Oh, okay. I gotta play with that a little bit more.
Okay.
So how are you doing? Thanks for taking the time. Mm. Um, are you still hearing me, or is it going in and out?
No, I can hear you well.
Okay.
How's my sound? Is it okay?
Yeah, your sound is okay. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a yeah. So nice to meet you virtually. Allison tells me that you're doing some work with teenagers, and I just wanted to kind of like get a little bit of understanding of what it is that you're doing.
Okay, so I'm really in the very early stages of it. It's really kind of unfolding very organically. Most of my work around worth and worthiness has been with adults. I've written a few books. The first was Worthy a couple of years ago. I wrote another one after that, and the one that I'm working on now that's about to be released is specifically geared towards women. It's called "Sis, You're Worth It: 7 Ideas for Manifesting Your Best Life." And the work that I'm doing with teenagers has just really, started to unfold organic. Allison reached out. I was doing while we were hunkered down. I was presenting one of my online workshops, just free on Facebook, and Allison was tuning in and thought it would be a good idea for me to connect with her, the young women that she mentors. And so we did two online workshops. Um, last two Saturdays, as a matter of fact, two online workshops that lasted for about 2 hours. And it just really allows me to go deep with them to understand, how unworthiness, if that's an issue, how it's showing up in their lives. Because essentially, most people, if they are, under the spell of unworthiness, don't even realize it because it's so subtle. And it's something that I discovered by doing my own work, because I was shown enough under the spell of it without even realizing it. And as I did my work as a writer, peel back my layers, and it emerged into a book. And I realized that there were a lot of other people who could benefit from it. And so right now, yeah, the work with teens is unfolding organically. I've been in touch with school board representative Mendingal, Bendros Mendingal, and she put me in touch with uh, I think it was an academic advisor at Miami-Dade County, and then they put me in touch with the director of mental health. And so I submitted a proposal to her, um, kind of a short-term opportunity and a long-term opportunity. Short-term, to put together a workshop for the seniors who won't be able to participate, in all of their wonderful activities because of the virus, to help them learn some skills to pivot, to understand that, yeah, this sucks. You have a right to feel as horrible as you want to feel right now, but don't let this be a defining moment that allow to linger indefinitely, so that it clouds all the other wonderful stuff that's coming down the pike for you. So the online workshop will waiting for them to get back to me on that. And then there's a long-term project that I put together, for it's a 5 module program that we're looking to implement in the fall. So that's something that we're continuing to discuss. Um, yeah, that's essentially what's going on.
This is great. So the project that I'm working on is around using artificial intelligence to help create virtual mentors for kids that don't have mentors, and just kind of like to build people's self-worth and sense of self. And
Uh-huh.
as part of doing that, we'll be able to, as part of doing that, we also want to be able to have the person, like create some content and framework for how the avatar interacts with the child, have some, what do you call it, word choices, and and being able to do it in a way that, that that makes the child, feel like they're the center of the interaction. So
Mm-hmm.
it's about how do we use, how do we use artificial intelligence, to create a human persona, and then by using artificial intelligence to create a human persona, be able to train the person on social emotional, content, mindfulness, and emotional intelligence, to build their self-worth and their self-love. Because if you can build somebody's self-worth and self-love, clearly I don't need to tell you this, you already know this, um, they're going to be better able to, a better position to be successful. They can, overcome and move past, barriers that otherwise they would not be able to move past.
Absolutely. Wow. Wow. Where are you in the process?
So we've already spec'd out the requirements. We had some user sessions with some teenagers. We have, two people that have said that they're going to share their content with us. We don't know what that means yet, because there's a whole bunch of licensing things that we would have to walk through,
Mm-hmm.
and we're in the process of fundraising. We were probably going to get some funding, in the next month or two, but I think that's now gotten pushed back to the fall,
Right.
because of people being distracted with COVID.
Right.
Uh, so that's, so right now, like, we're pretty. I think that, we're moving along. We're getting good content, and we're just basically trying to work with, people to find out, like, just to find out what kind of content people have, and what kind of partnership they're willing to do. Is your content evidence based? What kind of, like, road miles does your content have? So that, to to know, like, is there an opportunity to partner, and then what does that partnership look like?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, my content is not evidence based by through any work that I've done. I'm sure that if I did some research, I would find the evidence to support, the intentions of helping kids to understand that they're born worthy, and that there's some things that can happen in their lives that can have them thinking they're unworthy, but essentially they're worthy. They've always been worthy, always will be worthy. And when they understand, what those things were and the impact that they had on their sense of their worth, that they could, apply some real practical steps to, kind of objectively look at those things, and to understand that they have the power to re-engage and reconnect and live consistently from their worth. So I don't have the evidence myself, but I'm sure if I did some research, I could, confirm, and validate that this approach is powerful, and something that will have really amazing long-term benefits for youth. Because one of the things that I've discovered as I work with adults is that initially they have no idea that this unworthiness, this sense of unworthiness, is such a subtle thing. Because it's behind people going to jobs that they hate, and playing small and procrastinating and allowing self sabotage to show up, and those kinds of things that adults navigate, right? And when I start to talk about unworthiness, initially they're looking at me like, what you talking about? That can't possibly be a factor in my life. And then as I started to have that kind of conversation about how so unworthiness is and how it impacts way more people than they realize, I see the light bulb when I'm doing face-to-face workshops. I see light bulbs going off like, okay, well, maybe she's onto something. And the most common, the most common response, my God, I wish I had known this, years ago. I wish I had understood, how when these things happen in my things that resulted in me perception of my worth from my innate worth to just under this false belief that I'm unworthy. If I had had these skills and these tools to navigate those experiences, then they would not have anchored in my subconscious the way that they've done, and just kind of become these autopilot piloted thoughts and believe driving me without me even realizing that they're a factor. So I would love to work. I think that using AI, teens are going to. Oh my God, they would be so excited, you know, to they don't want to they won't have to deal with adults and their opinions and their judgment. They can just have a cool avatar that is there to guide them to back really back to themselves. Essentially, is what it is. It guides them when we're talking about unworthiness. We're talking about guiding people back to their innate worth, essentially, in a nutshell. And to have for teens to have access to that journey via an avatar, you are onto something. That is powerful and exciting. And if there's anything I can do to be a part of it, I'm raising my hand over here like, yes,
That's that's great.
that's
So so
exciting.
tell me a little bit about your book, the book that you're about to um publish. It is that for adults or is that for young people? 'Cause it said
That's for adults.
it's
That's
for
for adults. Yeah, that's for women. That's specifically geared towards women. I have another book in the down the. There's so many worthy books that the universe is pouring through me. So this one is pouring through now. The next one that is has shown up, in meditation, is for parents, so that parents can become worth wizards in their kids' lives. Because there are things
Mhm,
that parents can do, can be very intentional
mhm.
about, with Gene, and just the way that they interact with their kids. They can be very intentional about safeguarding their kids' worth and giving them school skills and tools to learn, celebrate, and be, fully engaged in their own work. So that's the next book that's but I haven't like really given a whole lot of thought or received any, epiphanies or insights in meditation yet about speaking directly to kids. It's coming, but it hasn't come yet.
Oh, so you're going from the perspective of the adults in the kids' life. So your courses as it relates to kids are just very much about from a parenting standpoint.
No, no, no. That's the book that I was just describing. The next book that's coming down the pike. The workshops that I've done um, with Allison's group, I dealt, we spoke directly with those young ladies and engaged with them, and provided some tools that they were very receptive to help them to, number one, understand how unworthiness shows up in their lives, and then to just provide them with some practical tools that they can use to start that journey back to reconnecting with their innate worth, and stuff that they can use on a regular basis moving forward, so that once they make that re-engagement with their innate worth, that there's still some things they can do to maintain the engagement, and to shift to where they're just celebrating their worth.
Okay, got it. Got it. Okay, so and in term you said you were engaging with the school system to possibly do some stuff with kids, but with this corona stuff, how's that being impacted, or do you feel like it's going to go faster?
Actually, the workshop that I proposed to them is as a result of of the coronavirus, because of the seniors and their inability to graduate, to participate in prom and grad night and all those things.
You went
Uh,
out.
so this
I'm sorry.
work to help them.
It-
Can you hear me?
My internet is really bad right now. Supposedly I getting a new modem. So you went out. Like all I heard was seniors participate in grad night, and then you went out.
Okay, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So yeah, this workshop is specifically geared towards this year's high school seniors, to help them to make the pivot from, being devastated because they're not going to be able to march, they're not going to be able to go to grad night, prom, all those, really important
Mhm.
senior activities that have been taken from them. So this workshop gives them space to grieve that loss because it's significant, and then it provides them with some tools to reframe the narrative around how the pandemic has impacted their lives, and to use some skills moving forward to kind of reframe, what the pandemic has done in their lives, and so that they don't use it to become victims, you know
Yeah.
as that a huge loss for them, and they as a blessing in this, because sponsor the tools for losses that they will encounter, and they'll have the skills, they'll have the tool, they have a toolkit they can pull from, so that when disappointments happen, they can rebound and still keep moving forward.
Okay.
So that's what the workshop for the school system, um, that's what that's geared towards. And then there's a long term project that I submitted to them. That's for the fall, and so that's something that we're still talking about. It's a 5 module program to help them, again, understand that they're born worthy, and that provides them some practical skills to deal with fear, to navigate procrastination, to not succumb to sabotage, and some of the other things that adults still grapple with. So we're going to provide some teenagers and high school students the tools
And,
to navigate those things.
and you're going to be delivering this, the content, the courses, or are you going to train somebody to deliver the content? How?
Initially, I'll be delivering the content, but that's my long-term goal. That's my long-term goal, to train folk to deliver the content.
And that content's already developed?
It's in the developmental stages. I have an overview, and I'm working on each one of the modules now.
Okay.
I
But
know what the content is, but it hasn't all been downloaded.
but the
So
content for the senior stuff, is that's been completed, right?
for the workshop, yes, for the
Uh,
senior.
do you mind sharing it so I can take a look? I can sign an NDA so you don't have to worry about me stealing your content or anything like that. I just want to see so I can get a better understanding, because I'm not 100%, like I'm not visualizing what it is that you're doing. So I'm like trying to visualize what it is, um, that you're doing. But Allison says that you're amazing, so I know you must be amazing, and I'm just not seeing something. But yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I just want to look through and see what it is, um and to understand how you do that. And then so besides, so that's one thing, full stop. And then the other thing is, besides these things and the book writing, what else do you how else do you get your ideas and your and continue, out into the universe?
Um, the books, workshops, um, that's essentially it right now. The company that I put together is called the Institute for Worthy Living. And so the services that I'm providing right now are the books, are the workshops. Um, this